Hello everyone, it's Sergio here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're here with part 2 of our 2021 season mod career driving as Sergio Perez. Last time out at Bahrain we finished 5th after a race-long battle with Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso, and this time out I'm hoping to be a bit closer to the pace of the two Mercedes and Max Verstappen. Usually Italy's a pretty good track for me, so I'm hoping we can at least get on the podium, but without further ado, let's get into the Grand Prix. Right, so here we are on the quality setup screen. You can see there we've got our custom setup on and we are on the soft tyres. And just having a quick look at the weather, you can see it's nice, dry and sunny. So it should be a fairly simple quality run. We just got to go out and absolutely push to our maximum on a nice dry track here. But as you see, as we get underway on the straight here at the start of our lap, you can see we start down in P11. And as we go down the main straight, we start making up places. So looks like we've got a very good straight line set up on the car, and we're in 5th place as we get into the first braking zone, getting right over those inside curves and setting up for a good exit out of turn 2. And we do come out in P2 just behind Hamilton there. You can see you can only just about see his ghost car in front of us there as we come around Curve Grande and head towards the second sector, and the next chicane you can see 0.07 down, so not very far as we really get over those curbs and come out of the chicane in P1 as we now head into the Lesmos, and Hamilton just about pulling ahead, so it looks like he might have a slightly higher downforce car compared to us as we head out the second Lesmo, almost getting in the gravel there and enabling DRS, and we are still in P2, but Hamilton is starting to pull away as we head down the straight, so he's certainly got a better run out of that second Lesmo as we now head into the Scari chicane and the third and final sector. Are 2/10 down, but we do gain actually through the Scari chicane, almost losing it through that final part there as we head down the straight towards Parabolica in the final corner of the lap, and just looking for the left hand side on the 100 metre board, 50 metre board, there we go, on the brakes, going through Parabolica, keeping it in 5th gear to keep traction. And as we head towards the line, Hamilton's getting away, but are we going to hold P2? It looks like we might, and as we cross the line it is going to be P2 for the Italian Grand Prix, a much better result than last time out in Bahrain. And here we are looking at the results for qualifying there. So you can see Hamilton gets pole 2/10 ahead of us, and then we're only 1/10 ahead of Verstappen. So good day for Red Bull there to get 2 and 3 on the grid, and Valtteri Bottas in the second Mercedes there in 4th place. So only a 10th between myself and Verstappen, and then another 10th to Bottas. So very close there. And Fernando Alonso in the Alpine going P5, another good result for him there in quali. Sebastian Vettel in P6. Lance Stroll in the second Aston Martin gets P7, followed by the second Alpine of Esteban Ocon in P8. Pierre Gasly, the only AlphaTauri in the top 10, gets P9, and Lando Norris gets P10 in the McLaren, just about outpacing teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Now, that's qualifying. Let's move on to the race.
Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today for the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Right, so here we are then, sitting on the grid for getting ready for the Grand Prix, and just having a look at the strategy there. You can see, interestingly enough, we're going to go longer on the softs than we are on the mediums. 7 laps on the softs, 6 on the mediums. You see, just trying to play around with it there to see if there is a faster way that makes a bit more sense, maybe a bit more realistic, but yeah, that's the closest one we had. Unfortunately, it was slower, so I just decided to leave it. It'll be interesting to see how this works out. Of course, lowering the fuel down, I do eventually end up deciding to give myself just a bit more fuel, considering how much of a power dominant track this is. I figured it might be better to allow myself some rich mix, but yeah, that's really all there is to look at. So let's get into the Grand Prix and see. Red lights going up, same with our revs, and the lights go out. Away we go from the Italian Grand Prix. You can see it's a good initial getaway, but once again, just a really slow pull away from the line after that, and Verstappen easily gets around the outside of us into turn 1, but We're going to have the outside line now as he goes defensive, but he just about pulls ahead. You can see yellow flag there, as I imagine a car or two coming together in that very tight chicane. But yeah, unfortunately losing a position to Max there straight off the bat. So hopefully now we can use the pace we know we have from qualifying to close back up and potentially get towards Hamilton in the lead. It's very nice and reassuring to know that we do have pace here this weekend, as opposed to last time out at Bahrain. We were definitely a bit off the pace and battling with those guys at the front of the midfield, but now we are where we should be, and we've got to be careful of Valtteri Bottas, though. He's only right behind us, just 4/10. He's closest to us than we are to Verstappen, although as we come down the straight, it doesn't look like Verstappen's using much energy, because as we head into Ascari, we are really close to him now. And now exiting Ascari, you can see getting over the curb a little bit there and having to use a bit of the extra AstroTurf, but easily gliding past Verstappen there, so he mustn't be using much energy to begin with. You can see we've actually used all of our allowance here for the first lap to get back ahead. So maybe we'll be a bit under threat as we head down the straight. We have nothing to use on the run up to the line. We're going to have to wait until we get officially onto lap 2. Of course, Hamilton there setting the fastest lap as he leads the way. And we once again are allowed to use overtake mode. Verstappen though is not going to challenge us, so maybe he just has a bit of a higher downforce setup, or maybe he's saving it all later for the race. But that doesn't concern us now, as we just have to be eyes forwards, focusing on Lewis Hamilton. Can we chase him down, or is he going to take off like he did last time out in Bahrain? Hopefully we're able to catch him and possibly even go for a Red Bull 1-2 and get a way up in the Constructors' Championship, because at the moment it's Mercedes ahead of us. You can see setting a purple sector in the first sector there, and as we head through the Lesmos, the car's actually feeling really good. You can see Verstappen still right behind us, so we could actually be under threat from our teammate now, because we assume he hasn't used much overtake mode, but we still have plenty as well. You can see 44%, so just using a bit there and going green in the second sector. Not purple though, so that could have been Hamilton or Verstappen, or maybe even Bottas, I'm not too sure. But now as we head through the third sector, which is basically just 2 straights and parabolica, we are actually closing a bit on Hamilton. We have just a very slight slipstream. He is 8/10 though, so when DRS gets enabled, we're going to be closer. But as we run down towards turn 1 now, we are closing in as we use overtake mode, setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix there. And we are really closing in, actually. We've only got 17% of battery left though, so we've got to make sure we still have enough left to actually make the move happen. As we head through the turn 1-2 chicane, we are really close to Lewis Hamilton, and we are actually dropping Max Verstappen behind us. So maybe Verstappen just doesn't have the pace after all, because you'd assume that even if he is just trying to save, he would at least try to stay within a second, which he has done now. But we are very close to Lewis Hamilton, so we once again set the fast lap of the Grand Prix. We don't really have much energy, but that's not going to matter, as we have DRS and Rich Mix, and we pull ahead of Lewis Hamilton and into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. And Lewis tucks back in there, doesn't try and send a dive bomb, and yeah, that's us into the lead. Can we pull away now, or are we going to be stuck in a big slipstream battle and DRS train with Hamilton, Verstappen, and even Bottas there, as he's just about within DRS of Max Verstappen? And we're going to cut to an off-board view here as we cut to the beginning of lap 5 here, and Verstappen's tucked right onto the rear wing of Lewis Hamilton, and he's going to pull out and try and go to the outside to make a move on Hamilton as we head into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make the move? He's going to have the outside line, which gives him the inside line for turn 2, but normally if you're on the outside, you're going to have a better traction out of the corner, and Hamilton does just about pull back ahead of Max Verstappen. Verstappen's going to have to wait for another go, and you can see as we head on to lap number 5 here, Lewis Hamilton goes for a big dive into the Ascari chicane, and we're going to have to try and hold it around the outside there, and we do just about do it. Is that going to give Verstappen enough of a run to make the move stick? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going to stay behind, although Bottas now has gotten ahead of Verstappen. And as we head into Parabolica, if you look at the standings on the left-hand side there, he's actually going to make the move on Lewis Hamilton as well. So that move came out of nowhere. A great double overtake there for Valtteri Bottas. So now as we head down the main straight, he might actually be able to make a move on us. As you can see, he's gaining as we head down towards turn 1. I'm using everything I've got in the engine, but he's just got that massive slipstream, and he's going to dive it into turn 1. He's going to have the inside. It gives us the inside for turn 2, but just like with Hamilton and Verstappen, Bottas is going to get the better run out of turn 2, and he pulls ahead. So what a lap there for Valtteri Bottas as he gets ahead. You can see I'm now using everything once again as we go through Curva Grande. And this is just about going to give me the inside as we head into this second chicane of the lap. We're going to have the inside and the outside and kind of a role reversal to the first chicane. We're going to have the better run now out of the corner, but we've got to have a look at the replay there for Valtteri Bottas, because that was an amazing move from him to go from fourth to first with basically just one corner in it. And you can see there, that was just Hamilton and myself battling, and that kind of boxed in Verstappen behind Hamilton, and he lost all his momentum, and then Bottas boxes Hamilton in behind myself and next to him, Bottas, and Bottas makes the double move there and of course goes on to overtake ourselves. But now as we go to lap 7, this is when we're supposed to be pitting. See in the bottom right there the blue spanner symbol indicating that it is our time to come in, and we're going to get it nice and slow down just in time once again, just like Bahrain, just before the pit limiter board. And Hamilton is right behind us. He actually closed in on us in that braking zone there. Who's going to have the better pit stop? Is it going to be Red Bull? Is it going to be Mercedes? As we come out, we have been let go, and we've actually got a bit of a gap to Mercedes. So a slow pit stop there for Lewis Hamilton. You can see there he is. It's actually opened up the gap a bit. But now it's going to be all about trying to make sure we get the best outlap possible and getting ahead of Bottas and Verstappen, as they did have DRS on us and we're not going to have DRS this time around. So it's going to be very, very crucial to set us as good a lap as possible, but I don't want to do what I did last time out in Bahrain and burn up the tyres on that outlap, because that really made us struggle at the end of the race and possibly cost us that position to Sebastian Vettel at the end. And now we cut towards the Ascari chicane here on lap 8, and you're going to see up there Max Verstappen is in the pit lane, so we're going to cut to what Bottas and Verstappen are doing. You can see as they come through, and once again it's going to be a race in the pit stop between Mercedes and Red Bull. Bottas does come in first, and he does come out first ahead of Verstappen. You can see they've just about made it out before all that mid-pack held them up, which that would have definitely helped us, but we also want Verstappen to get a good result here for the team. And you can see they're coming out, and here we come down the straight. We have lost some time to them, but we're going to pull over and get a bit of a slipstream off Max Verstappen as we head into turn 1. We're going to hold it around the outside, and we do just get position on our teammate, but Bottas has gotten ahead of us there. You can see a yellow flag there, and on the right hand side is the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly. So shame for him there. He had a good qualifying in the top 10, but he's going to be retiring from the race now as we head after Valtteri Bottas. And now you can see moving forward all the way to lap 10, where we are a fair bit off Bottas and we have no energy, but we are again closing right in on him. He's going to go defensive. We're going to keep trying to move to the inside, but he blocks us right off, so we're going to go to the outside. This is, of course, a strategic play here to try and get him a better run off of the corner, and he is going to get that. You can see he starts to pull ahead, but just like last time, we're going to go full engine mode, full rich mix, full overtake. We're going to try and squeeze him to the inside to give us our shorter line as possible, and we are going to pull ahead as we go into the second sector there, and now we're going to have to try and hold him off, but I doubt it's not going to be that simple of a task, because he's now going to have the slipstream and DRS on us, and we're going to have to go on a lean mix to save some fuel, because we've got none left, and we've also got almost no energy left. Even coming onto the straight, we're already down to 5%. We're not even at the start-finish line yet as we move on to lap number 12 now. Bottas is right behind, and we run out of energy now, so that's basically our defense gone, and we've got barely any fuel left. We're going to have to go to lean before we get there. That's going to allow Bottas to dive it down the outside of turn 1, but this time we're going to have the outside, so we should have the better run, although we really gas up the rears there. They must be starting to get old now, and Bottas gets a better run, but now we're going to go full engine mode just like last time, and we're on the inside. We're going to force him out to give him as wide a line as possible. Kind of a role reversal to last time out on lap 11. And we do once again pull ahead of Valtteri Bottas now. Are we going to be able to hold on to the lead of the race? You can see Bottas is right behind us. Verstappen is in P3 and Hamilton P4, and then it's a massive gap to Alonso in P5, so it is a four-way battle for the lead of the race here. 2 Red Bulls, 2 Mercedes, and now we head down the straight. We're using everything we've got. We've got a little bit of fuel now as we've been running on lean mix through the corners, but we've got no overtake mode, so you can see 2% trying to save as much as possible for the main straight, because that's where we're going to be most at risk. You can see running lean mix through the Ascari chicane to make sure we have as much fuel as possible, almost losing the car as we head out of the Ascari chicane. And now Bottas is really closing up on us here. He must be using a lot of overtake mode. As we head into Parabolica, he's going to go down the inside and he's going to take the position. I'm just going to let him go here and use the strategic play of getting behind so that we have the slipstream and DRS on him now as we head on to the final lap. And using everything we've got, you can see rich mix, overtake mode. We're going to have DRS and slipstream. We're going to go to the outside here. It doesn't matter which way we go though, as we're going to be completely ahead even though we've run out of energy. And now Hamilton's trying to get the move on Bottas, and in doing that he actually sends it on us, and this is going to give him the outside line heading out of turn 2, but we do just about cut him off there, although actually now as we try and take the racing line, Hamilton just sticks his nose in and gets the car ahead. I don't know how he managed to get the power to do that, but now we're going to try and pull back up alongside as we head into turn 4, and we do have it, you can see, locking up the inside as we try and get the car stopped as Hamilton hangs it in there, but in a bit of a role reversal to the last chicane, we're going to have a better run out of the chicane there. And as we go through the Lesmos running lean mix, although the tyres must be cooked as I almost lose the car there, and Hamilton sends it down the inside of the second Lesmo, and now we're going to go for a cutback on Lewis Hamilton. We're going to have DRS on him there, and we're going to pull around the outside, trying to force him to the inside there, and Verstappen's actually getting caught up behind Hamilton, and now Bottas is going to be able to try and go for the move on both of them, and now Verstappen and Hamilton actually are going to go side by side through the Ascari chicane. It's very close for P2 there, but we have got ourselves a gap. So it looks like we're going to be able to go for the lead, and actually it's going to nearly be 3 wide as Bottas tries to find a way through, but it's going to be between Verstappen and Hamilton by the looks of things, unless they tangle with each other coming through Parabolica, and you can see they're going to go side by side. Unfortunately, it looks like Hamilton's going to get P2, but it doesn't matter because we're going to win the Italian Grand Prix.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserved that race win.
They made great use of the clear air today then and didn't allow anyone to exploit the slipstream behind them. What a great win here at Monza. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
And here we are with the race results for the Italian Grand Prix. You can see us there getting first place and the fastest lap ahead of Lewis Hamilton by half a second. And then it's only a 10th back to Max Verstappen, and then only about half a 10th back to Valtteri Bottas, so very close there. You can see Fernando Alonso getting P5 ahead of his teammate Esteban Ocon in P6. Lance Stroll then finishing P7, not moving any positions, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who got into the points 8th place, and Sebastian Vettel finishing 9th ahead of Charles Leclerc, the Ferrari only getting 1 point, so disappointing weekend for the Scuderia here at their home Grand Prix. And now cutting to the actual championship standing, you can see it's Lewis Hamilton on 44 points, funnily enough, ahead of us on 36 points. So good to move up to P2 from P5 after last time out in Bahrain. You can see ahead of Valtteri Bottas, only 6 points between us, and then Valtteri Bottas equaling points with our teammate Max Verstappen, who's in P4, and then Alonso P5, Sebastian Vettel in P6, Esteban Ocon in the second Alpine there, P7, and Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren going to P8 ahead of Lance Stroll in the second Aston Martin, and Pierre Gasly, even though he had a DNF, sits P10 in the championship, so hopefully Gasly can get over his mechanical issues and move on. And for anyone interested, here is the second half of the championship standings. You can see Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in P12 and P14, so the Scuderia Ferrari really struggling in this season. And you can see at the bottom is the usual suspects, the Haas and the Williams and the Alfa Romeos. But now, cutting to the Constructors' Championship, you can see Mercedes lead only 8 points ahead of us in the Red Bull, and then Alpine goes third, just ahead of the Aston Martins, only 8 points between them, so that is a very close battle as well. But you can see Ferrari down in P7 on 1 lonely point, so really struggling, and hopefully they can get their stuff back together by the end of the season. So that is going to be all for us today, guys. That was part 2 of our 2021 season mod career, driving a Sergio Perez. We've made a lot of progress today, actually got a bit of pace, but yeah, if you did enjoy the content, please be sure to like and subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications for when I upload next, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.